You're listening to CreepGeeks Podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/cheapgeek. So it begins again. Welcome back to the CreepGeeks Podcast. This is episode number 114.
Friendly spirits, future plans, and flying creepers.
Yeah. So if this is your first time tuning in to the podcast, we very much appreciate it. So this podcast is about what?
Broadcasting paranormal news and fun stories from our CreepGeeks Bunker Studio in the mountains of western North Carolina. We're an offbeat news podcast that takes a lighthearted approach to the strange, the stupid, paranormal, and tech topics circulating the web.
Very nice. Very, very nice. And so if you're listening to us on podcasts, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, any of those wonderful places, we very much appreciate it.
Yes.
You can also listen to the podcast on our website. You can go to creepgeeks.com, and if the website is there, then you type it all in and you get to it. Because it used to be, let me explain, that you had to do the whole http://www to get to our website.
Yeah.
Now it's changed. You can just do either www or you can do creepgeeks.com. I don't know what has changed, but now you can do that.
Yeah, it took like a couple weeks.
It took a couple months.
Yeah.
So I think it may be something with the Googles. I'm not sure. But yeah, you can totally pop by and you can, listen to the podcast. There's a form where you can submit a story or something that's happened to you, a weird something,
Yep.
a strange something.
Click on the Contact Us link. It's on the sidebar as well as the bottom of the website.
And if you want to send us an email, you can use contact@creepgeeks.com.
Yep. And you can also give us a call.
That might be even easier. You can call and leave us a message.
Yes, call and leave us a message with your encounter, your story, the weird things that have happened to you. That phone number is going to be 575-208-4025, and that is a Roswell area code.
Yeah, that's what makes it creepy. So.
And we also have our YouTube channel. We did mention that a little bit, but that's where we put not just the podcast, but any of the events we've been doing lately and some of the other stuff we've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have lots of stuff going on, which is part of the reason why the name of this podcast, the title of this podcast, I should say, episode number 114, is Friendly Spirits, Future Plans, and Flying Creepers.
Yes.
Yeah. So lots of stuff to talk about, so let's go ahead and talk about it.
Okay.
And by the way, if you are listening to the podcast and you do like what you're listening to and you want to leave us a rating, we'll take that. Yeah. Only the finest quality 3 to 5 star reviews. Very much appreciated. And we're broadcasting from our bunker studio somewhere in western North Carolina, an undisclosed location, if you will.
Yeah.
It's where we're broadcasting from. And just so you know, we came from basically by way of New Mexico out to here. And got to tell you, this place is a little weird.
It is. It's got its whole
It's got its own flavor.
Its own flavor of weird, yeah.
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 Very, very nice.
That we are acclimating to.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. We ask people to submit stories.
Yeah.
And this person actually submitted a story. Yeah. So, we thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And full disclosure, we actually had a coupon one time and we bought a sign to go on the side of our van. We have a 2018 Ram ProMaster. It's big and it's white. It has a big old CreepGeeks, basically business card stuck on the side of it. So, we don't know if this person actually used the sign to submit.
Or if we met them recently.
Yeah, because we do get that. All of a sudden with the sign, we've had people just do walk-ups. That's what we're calling it because we're in the biz now. Walk-ups. And tell us stories, and we'll ask them, hey, can we talk about that on the podcast? And usually they're like, no. So it's like, okay.
Okay.
So we're not exactly sure, but one of the things that we do, if you do submit a story, is we guarantee your anonymity.
Anonymity.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're not going to say who you are. Because, that's what that means. So anyway, you want to go ahead and, this is a pretty cool little story. I've read it multiple times, so I thought it was kind of nice.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'm going to kind of skip to what's kind of important, but...
What? How can you just skip to the...
Well, I'm literally skipping 2 sentences. Okay? But anyways, they do start off with saying, I'd like to remain as anonymous as I can with this.
Yes.
As most people they've ever tried to talk about this with have kind of laughed it off or laughed at this person for believing in those old stories, or have only been interested in telling their own version of the story, their stories, you know. Also, they're kind of much like a lot of, you know, this area that we're in now. They have some family members who, you know, paranormal is kind of in the realm of the lords and demons and devils and stuff, and it's not conducive to talk about those sorts of things. So,
yeah, it's 2019. People still have hang-ups.
Yeah. So basically, if this person did try to talk about this with their family, it would kind of put them on the side of, are you a devil worshiper, or, you know, do you have something else going on? But with all that out of the way, they wanted to remain anonymous and just be pretty open with us with their story. And their story is this: my spirit has been an interesting aspect of my life from my earliest memory of him at age 14, and has been not only a massive karmic booster, but also a lifesaver, possibly on more than one occasion. And then they go on to share their most recent occurrence to basically give us and our listeners a feeling of how this spirit works for them. Now, this person works as a receptionist at a decent hotel a few minutes away from the downtown where they live, you know. And on average, homeless people are a rather common sight. Some are just people gaming the system with their campers, or addicts looking for a fix from a random soft-hearted passerby, but a number are genuinely sad stories. About a week and a half ago, after leaving Taco Bell from my lunch break, with dinner in hand, this person sees a figure that they're rather familiar with at this point. Percy, as I've come to call him, is sitting on a bench about 20 feet ahead of me. Lanky, almost shoulder-length brown hair, tattered yellow jacket, blue jeans and glasses, is sitting watching people as they go past. I watch until Percy catches my gaze, and then nod in acknowledgement without a word exchanged. Just about no one around me pays him any mind, and I know it's because they either can't see him or don't wish to acknowledge him for some reason, making conversing to a bench the most logical explanation, as well as a massive red flag to the casual observer. He grins at me and motions for me to follow as he stands up. Having done this more than once, I follow a few steps behind for a minute before he stops and motions towards a bench. A man with a gray and brown hoodie is sat on one side of the bench, crutches set against the side. I shrug, check my watch, still have about 15 minutes left on my lunch, and I ask if I can take a seat. After a joke and a remark about the weather, I ask the gentleman how his day is going, which is all it took for him to tell me why he's out on a winter day like this in such light clothing. An 8-minute ramble about the VA, the Veterans Hospital thing, and the rising cost of an apartment later, and I know this man has a bad knee on one side and a broken foot bone, I forget which, on the other, and how he's now living beside the Italian place down the street in their exterior electrical room. Having never seen this man before, I know he isn't one of the junkies that tend to wander around here, and a rather loud grumble from under his hoodie, I leave my quesarito combo next to him and tell him that if he needs to warm up, I work just down the way. Having no other reason to sit and chat other than Percy's suggestion, I tell him to have a good one, and he smiles a bit before waving. I get back to my desk at work, clock in, and go back to business as usual. That is to say, straightening the lobby and answering calls. After about half an hour, I'm cleaning a wheel on one of those luggage racks, and I feel a hand in my back pocket. After a loud hey and a failed grab at his wrist, he's off with my wallet. I just barely register a figure sitting by our front glass door before the man with my wallet takes off, and shortly thereafter flies face first into one of our glass doors, having had his foot caught in a crutch. The man from before then stands up and pins the crutch to the thief's chest and tells him that either he can give the wallet back or have the cops do it. He squirms a bit, probably trying to get his bearings after taking a face full of door, making the vet shift more weight into the center of this guy's chest, which brings out a slight groan and finally an all right before tossing my wallet behind him. After I promptly put it in a different pocket and promising myself to start leaving my wallet with my other things in the back, he lets up and the would-be thief books it down the street. I thank the vet profusely and he just brushes it off as repaying the favor. He comes in to warm up sometimes during the day, and after hearing who he was, the manager said he was happy to look the other way so as long as he didn't solicit or stay too long. Now, this person would like to know what Percy is, and if we had any insight or an opinion, anything this person has done or tried to research, the most they can come up with is, yes, it's a spirit. But they don't understand why Percy would know who or what to talk to, or why it kind of prompts it to make this person make certain decisions. But it's resulted in positive things happening or, life-saving moments like this story. Yeah. And, the thing that comes to mind when I read this story is almost like a guardian angel.
I mean, I don't know.
But another thing that some people believe is that, maybe it's an ancestor or recent relative that passed away that this person doesn't know about.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no opinion. Could be a ghost. It could be a spirit. I mean, it could be, who knows?
I mean,
it could be the fact that this person is a little bit sensitive, and maybe since they can see this person, this Percy, but I'm not sure because they say, the earliest memory since about 14.
Yeah.
So who knows? I have no idea. It's kind of an interesting story, though.
Yeah.
Allegedly, everybody's got spirit guides and all that sort of thing. But, whether or not you can see them, it's just something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I do think it's rather serendipitous that this Percy spirit kind of guides this person to talk to certain people or make certain decisions. And so far, they've been rather positive. That's kind of cool.
No, there's only been one instance, so I don't mean, what's the other ones?
One instant that they emailed us. Yeah. They did say that they'd gladly type out more if we're interested.
Well, yeah, we should send them an email and say send some more.
Yeah, but thank you for submitting your story. We did reply to you. If you want, go ahead and reply back. But other than that, thank you for contributing to the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll do a better job next time. So, well, it's kind of hard because you have to read it like 4 or 5 times to make sure you don't give away any details that'll give them away.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
what?
I put this story in here for you.
Okay.
Yeah. This was excuse me, in the news.
Yes.
And by news, we mean phantomsandmonsters.com. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
It says huge flying creeper humanoid in New Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I put this in here so that you could read it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, you don't have to read all of it. You can read part of it. So, go ahead and read the first 3 sentences.
How much is... Okay. So, this following account was sent in to Phantoms and Monsters.
Yeah.
And it says, "Hello, I just wanted to share an experience my husband had about 6 months or so ago. We live in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, and it was about 8 or 9 o'clock at night."
See? I put that in there because we used to live in Rio Rancho.
Yes.
There you go. So what it says is we were planning to go out into our backyard and just chill out and enjoy the cool air and have a small fire. Because that's what happens in Rio Rancho.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says, I was inside when this happened, so I didn't see anything. I was talking to my oldest daughter. My husband went outside and sat down in a chair. He leaned back and looked up at the sky. And he said what he saw scared him so bad he just froze. Yeah. He said he heard absolutely no noise whatsoever. It was about 8 feet in length, had leathery skin and huge wings.
Oh, God.
It was about 20 feet above the rooftops of the houses, and he watched it until it went out of sight. So about 2 minutes or so. And it was flying in a northwest direction. Isn't that creepy?
Do you know what's northwest of?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Well, say it.
So northwest of Rio Rancho is 3 possible places.
Yes.
The mesa, which is now, or the dirt as we call it, which is now blocked off from any humans except for the people who just bought it, who are private owners. The other 2 things are the Ojito Wilderness and San Ysidro.
Yes.
So both of those are northwest, and they're a very large expanse of basically BLM land.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the largest dinosaur bones have been found in the Ojito and San Ysidro areas. Yeah. However, there is a lot of spooky stuff in our Instagram that we've taken pictures of in the Ojito. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the guy's way of describing it is that he said it looked like a creature from Jeepers Creepers.
Huh.
So the guy goes flying in the house, he shuts the back door, shuts the blind, and was shaking as white as a sheet. And it took his wife like 3 days to get him to tell him, to finally tell her what he saw. And he still doesn't like talking about it.
I wouldn't.
To this day, he still avoids bringing it up. And he wouldn't go outside for weeks after that night.
Oh.
Not even to get something from his truck. And it says, I'm sharing this story because there has to be something out there. We've been married for 15 years and never has one of us ever joked around like anything about that or anything like that.
Ew, I looked up the description. That's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
It's almost like Mothman with a hat.
Now, we moved out of Rio Rancho, New Mexico, out of New Mexico in general, to an undisclosed location in western North Carolina in November.
Yeah.
So, November, December, January, February. We're now into March. So, we were still there.
When this happened.
Yeah.
Wait, so, okay, November. So, this happened in, like, September?
September, October.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. But isn't that kind of creepy? 8 foot tall, sort of leathery skinned, humanoid looking thing, just kind of flying.
You know what was happening in September?
No.
Remember the dude who kept setting off the fireworks? And
No.
he was like scared? And they started an argument?
No, I don't actually remember that.
Yeah. So, but, I mean, I used to see bats. And there are large owls out there, but they're not 20 feet or, I'm sorry, 8 feet.
Well, that's 8 feet long. That thing was 20
Yeah.
feet in the air.
Yeah.
Above the
8
rooftops.
feet, sorry. Yeah. But all the bats I ever saw out there were all small bats.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never saw big ones.
Well, I mean, it's obvious you're not going to look at a bat and mistake it for a flying humanoid.
No, I will say that area around September, we had massive rains, and it led to flooding, and the city had to come out and start digging things up and clearing things out of the way. So they probably, maybe they dug into a giant humanoid cave. I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's creepy, though.
But I did do some quick research, and that's not the only flying humanoid
Really?
sighting in New Mexico.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought I'd put that in there for you because basically it's in our neighborhood.
Oh, man.
And it's like,
That's so crazy.
Yeah. Now, if I'd have been, out there, I'd have pulled out my cell phone and took some really bad shaky camera pictures. So, or even video, really bad shaky video.
Well, I would try to do video of like all the coyotes we had out there, and it would be just terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with like cell phones and stuff. People are like, you should be taking great pictures out there. Cell phones are really good these days. Not always.
No.
Especially when it's starting to get a little dark. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a flying creepy creeper.
Yeah.
Flying creeper humanoid in New Mexico. Doesn't surprise me too much.
No.
So, yeah. Because I was like, what? But the fact that they waited like 5 to 6 months before they even said anything, that's just kind of...
I honestly think like the wife has been hounding him for 6 months and he finally let up. So that's why the story.
I don't know.
That's why the story got submitted. So
yeah, but I mean, well, maybe not, because if you kind of look at it, Chicago has had, like last year, a bunch of winged humanoid flying entity sightings and encounters. So
yeah,
could this be carryover from that? I mean, we all go back to looking at like things like Mothman.
I mean, like these flying creatures are migrating. That'd be kind of weird.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got like bat-like objects, right?
Yeah.
And then Mothman-like, and all of this stuff that's been going around Chicago. We talked about it a lot last year.
Yeah.
Giant bat over Lake Michigan.
That's the thing that gets me, though.
Large humanoid bat. Pair of large bat-like humanoids in downtown Chicago.
That's just creepy.
So what if, and I mean, why New Mexico? Why not? So if Chicago and all those lakes and all that stuff out that way, and they're starting to get sightings, I mean, who knows, man?
Well, there's a lot more open space, like we've said. There's so much more open space in New Mexico for these things to go undiscovered. So
I'm just kind of waiting to see if 2019 brings a lot more sightings. But yeah, in the show notes, anything we talk about, we put links.
Yeah.
So if you want to click on the link that's in the show notes and go to Phantoms and Monsters and look, click on the bat-like sightings, the Chicago sightings, and that page scrolls for a while. And most of those were late 2017, 2018, and there was a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So, and there's New Mexico. And so, kind of makes me wonder if we need to do a little bit more research to see if there's been any, winged humanoid flying entity sightings around the southeast.
Oh, yeah. Well,
so,
I do have another podcast planned kind of about stuff in the sky.
Yeah.
So, but the next article that I wanted to bring up kind of ties into this one, just barely. But this is kind of breaking news, and it's flying witch reported over Turtle Creek near Darien, Wisconsin. And this was also sent in to Phantoms and Monsters, but other people have been covering it as well.
Right.
And basically, Lon Strickland of Phantoms and Monsters was contacted by a witness on February 25th to report the sighting of a winged being she had seen that morning around 5:30 a.m. Now, over the phone, the interview was basically, the witness says, was traveling west on Creek Road on her way to work. As she approached the Turtle Creek Bridge, she observed a large winged being that she described as a flying witch. The being was at a treetop altitude and was gliding in her direction. It was early dawn, but enough light was available for her to make out a form. The winged being suddenly descended towards her car and barely missed colliding with the hood. She described that the being's wingspan was much wider than her car and that the body was a brownish color, like a paper bag. The body looked feminine and slight. The wings were bat-shaped and very large. She never noticed the wings flapping. The speed in which it descended was not natural. The face was unremarkable, almost blank. She noted that she swerved and almost hit the guardrail. The witness did not notice where the winged being flew to after the encounter. She is of Hispanic descent and stated that the being looked similar to a witch that was described to her as a child. She was quite upset and worried that she may encounter this being. May encounter this being in the future, which Bruja and a lot of Southwest culture talks about. You get the sighting or you get the omen and then it haunts you or it stalks you. And that's why I wanted to talk about this one too, because the witness's identification of the creature as a witch may be related to the legends of Lechuza, which in Mexican folklore is an old woman or a witch or a bruja who can turn into a giant black bird.
Ooh.
In some stories, the bird is an owl, but sometimes it's described as an eagle. Now, the thing that is different is the fact that they are describing the wings as bat-shaped. That's not a bird, but it goes right with these humanoid creeper sightings that have been going on. Now, the bridge, Turtle Creek, is less than 50 miles west of Lake Michigan and around 30 miles southwest of a 2017 winged entity sighting that occurred in Muckawanago, Wisconsin.
I'm pretty sure that's not how you say that.
I'm pretty sure. Now, after consulting with Phantom's Monsters, this article's reporters and people decided not to contact the witness. So, yeah. The witness was very skittish and very afraid that the more she talks about it, the more likely it will come for her.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people don't talk about stuff like
Yes.
that. Excuse me, they'll have an experience,
Yeah.
and if they have any kind of belief at all, they're like, this is how you make it worse.
Yeah.
Don't say anything, maybe it'll go away, right?
And what's interesting is this kind of ties in those sightings around Lake Michigan as well as Chicago, and, says this stuff is still going on. And as far as the large gray or black bat-like creature descriptions, this falls in line with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see some of that stuff here. We have been seeing large, fat squirrels. That's about all we've seen so far.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a commonality around here. So no friendly spirits yet. No flying creepers. No flying witches. Just large, fat squirrels.
And angry ducks.
And angry ducks.
Yes.
And random chickens. So there's nothing more exciting than sitting outside and just seeing a random chicken come cruising up to you. So, I'm not a chickenologist. I didn't know what to do. This thing just kind of came up and was like, hey, man. I'm like, what's up, chicken? What are you doing, right?
Well, the angry ducks chase me and Pepper on our walks.
Yeah.
So
it's like getting attacked by a pillow. I would not worry about it.
Pillows don't have beaks.
Well.
So.
Speaking of beaks, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah. We should let's take a break. What do you think about that?
Sure.
Yeah. Wow.
To those who've been affected by a paranormal experience, including those who've been indirectly affected. Services provided include paranormal investigation, property research, and evidence review of residential, business, and private property locations. Cleansing of these properties are available upon request. No matter the circumstances of the paranormal experience, M&D Paranormal strive to offer a non-judgmental environment to promote education, open communication, and empathy to each individual that chooses to share their experience or come into our service. In achieving this goal, M&D Paranormal is building and bringing together a community of open and like-minded individuals by offering free monthly gatherings and events at the Shop Eclectic, 49 State Street, Marion, North Carolina. Call us anytime at 828-484-1637 or 828-559-2818 or email us at mndparanormal@gmail.com.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. So that was really low. It happens sometimes. What do you think about that?
Okay.
Do you know why it was really low?
Why?
Well, basically, the reason why that commercial was really low, it was for M&D Paranormal, is primarily because we've been doing things, right? And since we've been doing things in different locations, a lot of our gear has been sort of separated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we have our bunker studio and we also have a satellite studio.
Satellite office.
Satellite office studio gathering type place that we can go. And what we've done recently is a bunch of different things. But we did a gathering. We had the live paranormal roundtable. What else did we do? We did a bunch of interviews.
Yeah.
So we kind of split some of our gear between here and there, hither and yon, if you will. So, because that's kind of what we're going to talk about now. It was some of the stuff that we've been doing. Okay, just long story short, we actually got here to North Carolina at the end of November, and then in the first week of December. Was it the first week in December?
I believe so.
Something like that. Anyway, we kind of found this place and these people, and they are M&D Paranormal, right? Mm-hmm. Investigation, encrypted research, and they're tied to the Shop Eclectic. They do monthly gatherings where, subjects like 14 subjects are talked about. And we went, and we met a bunch of like-minded people, and it was good. And so we started kind of talking a little bit. And, long story short, we wound up going on a couple investigations, some paranormal investigations for a couple different places. One was a private residence, and one is a business.
Yep.
And, the reason why we started to kind of go on these paranormal investigations is we like to talk about a lot of this stuff, like ghosts and cryptids and 4T type stuff. Right?
Yeah.
But we don't have any real experience doing it.
I mean, we have personal experiences.
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah.
We're not like organized into like a crime fighting team where it's like, the alarm goes off and you run out there and investigate. Nothing like that. This is an actual paranormal investigation group. It's a team. Mm-hmm. They have a plan in place. They have done many investigations. So they kind of know how it goes. They're organized and all that sort of thing. And they were kind enough to invite us so that we could go too.
Yeah.
Right? So we could kind of see the real deal.
Yeah.
Because what you see on TV is not the real deal.
No, it's not. And we have interviewed them in the past. We plan on having them on the show again.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things, like all the ghost hunting shows and some of the paranormal shows and like the A Real Haunting-y type shows or whatever. They don't discuss it on the show, but behind the scenes, there is so much more to being a paranormal investigation team. I mean, like, okay, for example, you would watch a ghost hunting show and literally within a commercial break, they come back with all this evidence. When in truth, it may take 2 or 3 investigations to come up with the level of evidence that you see on TV.
Yeah.
Not only that, but it doesn't happen in one commercial break to review footage.
No, it takes a long time.
Yeah. It took me 24 hours just to review some footage.
Yeah.
And
what's not really discussed about is all the legwork.
Yeah.
You watch a paranormal show, they do a quick sort of, interview, and then they jump right into it.
Or not even that. They jump out of a fantastic blacked out SUV ready to go, Yeah.
And what we found is that, people reach out, right?
Yeah.
And then things have to happen where coordination, because everybody works, everybody's got jobs, that kind of thing. So then you wind up reaching out to the people, talking to them, finding out when you can go out there and actually do an interview with them, right?
Yeah.
Then after you do the interview, you kind of review the information to try to determine if it's even worth doing an investigation.
Or you have to do background research too.
Well, yeah, you got to do all that as well. And then if you do decide, okay, this is definitely worth the investigation, let's go check it out, right? Then you got to coordinate that.
With your team.
Yeah, with the people and your team, and everybody, like I said, everybody works. And then once you have all that coordinated, then you got to gather all the gear. That also takes time. And again, everybody works, Mm-hmm. Then you got to get out there, and then you got to do it. And you got to make sure you've got all the equipment and gear that you need, like me, having left some stuff back in the office. And,
I can't find one of my camera batteries.
It's things like that. It's the logistics behind it. And the more investigation gear that you bring, the more aggravating it is, because it's like for example, we went and did the business investigation, which we'll talk about in a future podcast. In myself alone, I brought 5 cameras.
I brought 4 cameras.
Yeah.
I brought 2 batteries. I can't find one of the batteries for the good camera.
And for those cameras I brought, I had multiple batteries and memory cards and all that sort of thing.
And I did.
Somehow or another, we're missing some stuff, and we probably got to figure out where it went. But, and see, here's where it gets kind of crazy. You know that you have the possibility of losing equipment and gear.
Yeah.
Right? And I know this. And we put stuff in safe places and all that sort of thing. But, I mean, how much of that, when it winds up gone, is, you lost it, or I lost it, or it's just gone.
Yeah.
Because the place we went, they were saying, hey, things get misplaced all the time.
That's one of the details about their phenomenon, their paranormal phenomenon that they're experiencing.
Now, we brought, multiple batteries for each camera, because that makes sense.
Yeah.
And they drained so quickly. All of them. I went through 3 batteries and almost all those cameras, and we weren't there that long.
I tried to do a time lapse with a camera, brand new camera, my Christmas present camera. And for some reason, it died immediately into the time lapse.
Yeah,
and it died suddenly. And when I went to go check on it to see how the status of it was, it's a gimbal. For some reason, the gimbal had turned itself completely different direction, which is part of the purported phenomenon that happens in this business. So it's like, electronic devices die, things disappear. I brought multiple pens because I wanted to jot stuff down, and the pens are different than the pens that are at this business. They're all missing. It's like, okay. And it wasn't like I set them down. It was like I had a pen in my back pocket and it disappeared.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
It's just and you got to look and go, is that paranormal? Or am I not organized?
But here,
and it doesn't help.
Yeah.
It was just weird, that the energy drain on a lot of devices was a little weird. Things being misplaced was a little weird. Equipment acting strange, like my camcorder, my video camera, decided to take a random picture for no reason whatsoever. Never had that happen before. Memory cards, big memory cards. 512 gig memory card where you can record for like 12 hours, full.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, wait, it can't be full because there's no way. And then you review it and it's not full. It's like, it was just sort of like one thing after the other. And I'm relatively skeptical with all this stuff because I want to see something.
Yeah.
And if I see something and it becomes obvious to me that I've actually seen something, it might change my perspective.
Yeah.
And we haven't really seen anything. But, I mean, it makes you wonder if this is all about, what it is.
Yeah.
Experiencing the weird stuff like that, which doesn't really have a real reason behind the explanation, but you can't say, yeah, that was paranormal, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, your battery died. Oh, yeah, it's definitely paranormal. It's not like that. I can say, well, okay, for some reason the battery's drained. Unusual. It hasn't done it since. These were brand new batteries, been used once or twice and all that sort of thing, and there's no reason for them to. But it did it.
And we're not talking, batteries you buy from the grocery store or Walmart and pop into something. We're talking
$60 batteries that come, from the manufacturer who made the camera.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's Canon, but they're expensive batteries. But, it's just things like that. And see, this is part of it. Why we're doing it. You see it on TV, the show, energy drain and all that, and you're like, whatever. But now we're experiencing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And is that just how this goes, where you just experience just enough to go, that's weird, but not enough to go, that's a spirit, man, that's a ghost.
Well,
that's paranormal.
And it's
we got evidence it's got paranormal stuff,
What's messed up is, okay, we both come from a technical background. We know a lot of the science behind why some of these things happen, but to the extreme in which they happen is where I'm getting so conflicted,
Yeah.
I mean, the batteries for some of our cameras are rated to X degrees, and then you start to experience camera drain.
Yeah,
battery drain.
It's like 103 degrees to 30 degrees or whatever.
Yeah, but
and that's Fahrenheit because we're American.
Yeah.
And we were in a place that was definitely not 30 degrees. It was warm and nice and all that.
Yeah.
It's like no reason for it.
So, and then, coming from that technical background, and then let's just take the word paranormal out of it. What if we weren't doing a paranormal investigation? What if we were shooting a commercial? Would we experience that same stuff?
I don't know. You mean like in a different location?
Or even if you just took paranormal out of the equation, like what if we went to this business and we were trying to be professional as we can and do like an amateur commercial? Would we have experienced the same problems?
Yeah, I have no idea.
You know?
I mean, we have enough backup stuff just to compensate for that kind of thing.
And that's the thing.
There's no way to go through 3 batteries like that. And it wasn't like they were recording continuously the whole time either.
No, and that's the thing that bothers me about my time lapse.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't, and it's not just the technical. Yes, we are total nerds, and we are a little obsessed with the technical phenomenon that we've been experiencing. But it's also a physical. Both these investigations that we've been on, we've started to experience some physical ramifications from them.
Ramifications. Yeah, I still have like a sinus thing going on.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, granted the weather is starting to change and all that, and allergies happen. I forgot we're back on the East Coast where I'm going to die in the springtime.
Oh, don't say that.
But we had, with the first investigation we went, I mean, you know, I already had the flu, and then I got sick on top of having the flu. How do you get the flu and you're sick, and then you're sick on top of that?
Yeah.
And I still feel like I haven't completely recovered from that. But it's like things like that. It's like, what? You know, and then I'm not trying to lend credence to all these paranormal investigation shows that you see, but I can kind of see it where when they talk about we've gone to a location and it made me physically sick.
Yeah.
Now, is it environmental?
Possibly.
More than likely.
Yeah.
You know, and you could say, well, okay, I can see like maybe this particular area and the way it is and the environmental conditions of this, where this particular, investigation occurred, can cause some sickness, and maybe the people that live there don't feel quite so well all the time, but since they're there, they're kind of used to it.
Yeah.
And that can cause like weird emotions and all sorts of crazy stuff. But, I don't know. It's just kind of a thing. It's like, is this an occupational hazard?
And,
I mean, if you talk to, I'm sure if you talk to Zach from what's the name of his
Ghost Adventures?
Ghost Adventures. I mean, he's had physical effects, or so he says. And I'm kind of inclined to maybe possibly believe him a little bit.
I'm more interested in Aaron on Ghost Adventures. Had a very interesting story about how after an investigation, whatever it was, went home with him and caused a lot of emotional turmoil in his household.
Yeah.
And we've also seen that on these investigation shows when they decide to get a little more real or a little more honest or a little more transparent. All those popular ghost hunting shows, they do talk about some of that.
Yeah.
And, you try to go, is that the drama of television, or is this an occupational hazard?
Or is it both?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of strange. So we've done a couple investigations. We talked a little bit about, with the most recent one was at a business where we did experience a lot of just sort of random electronical anomalies.
Yeah.
We didn't really see any real things to make us think, huh. Not to say that there's, I can't discount what the people, because we interviewed them, what they said, because I'm inclined to believe them, and that they believe that whatever they've experienced, right?
Yeah.
So, and we did have a couple EVPs kind of pop up.
And we had some.
And those EVPs were recorded not just with an audio recorder, but I actually recorded 1 or 2 on my camera.
Yeah.
So, it's almost like you can really chase your tail with this stuff.
Yeah.
You kind of want to show up, because I think once we go to an investigation and we actually see something, it's like, wow, man, we cannot explain that. And it changes my perspective. At that point, I might be done. It's like, okay, I've experienced enough to where it has changed my perspective and what I believe, about this particular thing. I'm satisfied with this, and let's move on to the next thing. So I don't know. So we're part of a team.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the things that we like to talk about is like things like cryptids and Bigfoots and, Loch Ness monsters and flying people and flying humanoids and gargoyles and all sorts of crazy stuff, Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
So our next thing that we need to do is to go out and do a couple of cryptid investigations.
Ew. And
I think we've sort of laid the groundwork for that to happen. So far we've kind of went out and became part of a paranormal investigation team, and they do cryptid research as well. So we'll be doing some of that, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Because the invites for us have gone out. Like, hey, yeah. Also, some other investigation type stuff that doesn't really fall in the realm of cryptid necessarily. That's in the works for us. We're not going to say what it is because I don't know if we're supposed to.
Yeah.
And so all this has kind of led us to do a couple different things. We've been collaborating with M&D Paranormal.
Yeah.
We've also been doing interviews with people that we have learned, a little bit about, and we kind of know from gatherings and also from M&D. So we've done some interviews with them, right? Not going to say who they are just yet. We're not trying to be elusive. We're just trying to get all this organized.
And cooperate.
Yeah, and we've actually gone out and videoed like all of this sort of thing and trying to figure out what we can do and use and all that sort of thing. We got to make sure we do the right thing.
Yeah.
Because anonymity is guaranteed, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So we've got cryptid research to do. So we'll be doing that. Got more paranormal stuff to do. I'm sure we'll be doing that. We have a couple events that we're going to, right? So we've got to do that.
Yeah.
And on top of all that, in order to find a way for us to document and kind of put this content out there, we sort of have decided to create a web series, or basically a series of YouTube videos, ongoing. It's going to be called In Real Life. What's the rest of it?
In real life, we joined a ghost or paranormal investigation team.
Yeah. So we're going to be putting out videos, about the investigations we've gone on and some of the background stuff that happens in the back, right? The stuff that you don't see. And that's going to also include cryptid type stuff. We've got some things to do. So we're going to, of course, keep doing the podcast. We're going to bring you more interviews. We're going to interview teammates and that sort of thing and talk about some of the experiences. We're going to talk, hopefully, with interview type situations with owners of all these investigation places that we may or may not go to, because it kind of depends, really. So we've got a lot of stuff going on. We want to document the background side of things and some of the experiences we're going to hopefully experience or have in the In Real Life series. And for some of the weird places that people on our Facebook page want us to go investigate, we're going to do some mini documentaries.
Yes. That's the part I'm super excited about.
So, just to kind of put this in perspective, we have gathered enough equipment to be able to do all of this sort of thing.
Yeah.
When I say that, as I left a piece of equipment in the office that I should have brought. Anyway.
And I have no idea where my battery is.
Yeah.
I'm still mad. It's been all day.
So we'll figure it out and find it, but we've got a lot of things going on here. So the entire point is this. Keep listening, because it's going to get better. And I'm just hoping that I can get a handle on these allergies and all this stuff. It's like swallowing dirt. If you swallow dirt, leave us a comment somewhere.
I have.
Yeah.
But maybe we can treat it with like local honey or something.
Yeah, that'll fix it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of stuff going on. So we're going to be doing an in real life web series. It'll be on our YouTube channel where you can see videos. We're also going to be putting up clips about some of the experiences that we had, possible EVPs, that kind of thing. And if we're going out and we're doing some business and we're taking care of business and investigating and doing all that stuff, if the group we're with gets really good stuff, we're going to point you to them so that you can experience it as well. It's kind of a share and share alike type thing.
Yes.
But the cool thing for us has been so far that when one part of the team experiences something and we're able to corroborate it with our gear as well, I mean, what is that, right?
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So, and we've been trying to make things a little bit better, because one of the things that's been a little bit of a pet peeve of mine has been when you see the audio equipment that a lot of these like ghost hunting teams and stuff on TV use, they're like not very good.
That's the polite way of putting it.
And so we've been trying to step up our audio game, and it seems like I've been chasing my tail with that, but we have some relatively decent recorders.
Yeah.
And microphones, especially for making the mini doc and all that kind of stuff. And hearing some of the EVPs, that, yes, they're kind of hard to hear, but they're clear.
That's the thing that gets
That's
me.
freaked me out. It's like the first time I heard an EVP, electronic voice phenomenon, which, I was involved in that sort of question and answer sort of situation.
Yeah.
To hear it clear sort of freaked me out, because I was expecting to hear, like on Ghost Adventures, like, it's like, and you're like, oh, it said bring me a Big Mac. Right?
Did that just say kill Greg?
Yeah. Bring me a Big Mac. It's like, that didn't sound like anything that I've heard.
Yeah.
But, when a question is asked, how many spirits are here? And you hear 12.
That's unnerving.
Yeah. And the volume might be a little low, but it's like 12.
Yeah.
You're like, did that just say 12?
Oh, and that's another
You're like,
thing.
yeah. It's like, what? And so, I don't know. It makes me wonder. It's like, if you bring good gear to these things, will you get good experiences or not? That's, I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. But I don't know about that one because I'm
I
really
don't know.
conflicted about that one.
What?
So,
with the good gear?
Yeah, because...
Well, I subscribe to the garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But the good gear thing, I have the mentality because I was taught a certain way with photography, and that makes me extremely skeptical. So as far as results are, I'm really wary. So,
well,
yeah.
When it comes to like audio recording and video recording, if you can see what's going on and clearly hear what's going on, you're winning the fight.
Yeah. Now, as far as to backtrack a little bit with that audio review that he was just talking about, one of the interesting things I liked was how the team will impartially basically hand the evidence to each member of the team for them to come up with their own determination.
Like, don't say what it is. Don't say what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah. Because I was one of the second people that said, that said the number 12.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So,
yeah,
I don't know if we're giving anything away or not, but it's been a little bit of an experience, and hopefully we can get everything organized in a way that we can bring you along for our experience as well. It's been rather an eye-opening experience so far, and it's work.
Yeah, it is.
So, you get everything all set up, and then you got to break everything down. It's almost like you're a roadie in a rock band. You show up and you get it all set up, and then the show happens, and then you got to break it all down and move on to the next one.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thumbs up if you like the roadie song by Jackson Brown. So, people are like, who is that? And it's like, whatever, man. But yeah, it's pretty good. So, that's kind of what we're doing. So, we're going to be doing more podcasts. We have a video series, mini documentaries, and if we can, we'll release like good little instances of exciting evidence.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's fun so far. And we got more stuff coming. So there we go. Yeah. So that's about all I got to say about that.
Okay.
So, yeah. Anyway, you good?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about before we shove off?
No. If you listen or download the audio for this podcast, we appreciate it. Make sure you check the show notes for everything we talked about. I'm looking through here. I need to just update one or two things.
Yeah,
That's what I'm like right now. But
well, I mean, to be completely honest with everybody listening, we have been super busy.
Yes, we have.
Which is good.
Now, we still want you guys to reach out to us. contact@creepgeeks.com. Also, join the Facebook page or the Facebook group or like the page so you can get updates and find out what we're doing. We've been posting a lot about local events out here as well as just paranormal events in general. So if you have a paranormal or cryptid event that you're throwing, shoot us a line so that we can find out about it. And hey, we may even announce it on our page.
Sure.
Yeah. On top of that, subscribe to us on YouTube. We have, that's where we're going to be putting all of our in real life. We joined a paranormal investigation team stuff.
Yeah, videos and such.
Yeah, so check us out on there. Our YouTube page is growing. We much appreciate everyone who has subscribed over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's about it.
Yep.
So there you go. This has been the Creep Geeks Podcast, episode number 114. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let us know. But other than that, see you later. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
peanut butter. I like peanut butter. Peanut butter. I like peanut butter. I like peanut butter.